Hi, hello, welcome to the 1111 Divine Lover series brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Blossy. I'll be your oracle today. If anything that is said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. If you're new, you belong, so welcome home. It's a delight and an honor and a pleasure to serve you. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for your continued love and support. I honor you, I praise you, I thank you. And why don't we just go ahead and get in here? It's been a minute since we did. I had planned to come back, it didn't happen. And I know why. Basically, what I can share openly is that some healing needed to happen because we made a pivot that was starting to veer off in the wrong direction, which is okay. Start on time, end on time, halfway in between, you're usually going to be slightly off course. It's about correction and correction and correction and correction. That actually builds the relationship to source, being able to tune in and retune in and plug in and replug in. That's actually a really great thing. My problem as a human, personally, a Blossy here, my problem is that it's of my nature for things to disappear and come back around. And I'm always getting shocked out of ignorance, or in a sense, probably some abstract version of both. And that's consistent in multiple experiences in multiple different areas with multiple different relationships. I'm always being startled awake, stumbled awake, stumbling into the truth, being startled awake, and some kind of just a lot of things that are obvious or that go without saying kind of need to be said at least once. And I hate a hoe that narrates. I hate a narrating hoe. I can't stand hoes to say obvious things. But in relationship, if there's an expectation or a need, don't. You need to be direct with me. Okay, because I was wanting to do a test on the love relationship. Okay, and we need to go love God first before we come back into the divine union. And that's just the thing. Kind of, it also is the divine union. Because when you're in a union with the divine, it will step out of the spiritual into the physical through a member of the soul group. Every twin flame is a soulmate. Not every soulmate is a twin flame. Okay, so there's that. What I also know is that there's a lesson here for this connection, if there is one at all, and that's on the grounds of the path itself. So hope, wish, dream, aspiration. We're going to go ahead and cast the descending energy, so the divine feminine. Okay, so we have a message from the other side that their love is authentic and genuine. It's not just about F-ish, B bull-ish, what the F is this-ish. It's not just about bull-ish. It's not fake, phony, and fictitious. It's more authentic, genuine, sincere. Also, they like that we're pure and innocent. That is a thing with men, especially Western or New World men. A womanly person agitates them. They get flustered because they don't know what to do with a hoe that knows what's up. They need a weak bitch. I'm just gonna come out and say it. They need a needy bitch. They need somebody wanting. If somebody is secure, that's a threat to them. So I like that this person is not that. Okay. Excuse my, I'm sorry. Language, excuse my language. Okay, so we have the Ace of Cups, and that's gonna be in terms of for the divine feminine, that's the sacrifice to make. They need to open up their heart. And we also have the Seven of Cups here. So this starts out with maybe just being an option or having a lot of information or conjuring something up. This may be coming in off of prayer, and then it might show up Because if it starts with a prayer or conjuring and then it does manifest, there could be some reticence. There's been some delays, or there's some things to learn here about either discernment or the connection itself, because there does need to be right judgment, but there's also unconditional love here. So we'll talk about that. And this is on the feminine side. So they're giving. Yeah, so there's a message here about the timing. If it's not the right timing, it's not the right person. We need to tell, I just heard, okay, I was going to say, we need to tell the universe what it is that we want. You know what I just heard? We need to tell the Lord what it is that we want. We need to tell, the word that was used was God, the language that I heard was God. We need to tell God what it is we want. Okay, so the sacrifice to make on the masculine side is to deal with something. I think this happens, I see this a lot. The more masculine energy can become overwhelmed or flustered when the feminine side has a swell in their power or their emotions or whatever. There's this need to remain rigid or still or whatever, and that's actually not going to be most helpful. Now, it has been evolved, it has taught a lesson, brought a lesson, and I do sense that the masculine is more in the feminine energy. What they want to do is make sure that things increase. They want to make sure also that we're coming from the highest possible way. So they want to make sure that things are optimal, whatever. Really, what's happening in the spiritual is they're actually always aligning with the highest. So if there's multiple parallel universes, the highest stated condition, the highest, most blissful state, they're always trying to get there, whether it's intentional or unintentional. So if you're dealing with them in 5 different worlds or 5 different parallel universes or whatever, the best possible circumstance, the best possible timeline, that's all they're interested in. Masculine, they ain't worrying about trying about effing with nothing else. They ain't trying to do no nothing else. Okay, so we start in here with the feminine side, a bit overwhelmed. The masculine is sitting in their energy, so they're secure in the self, and so the feminine might be looking at the masculine as an option, or might be feeling like an option, or just feeling unseen. Now that's the thing; that is how the flow works, though. So that's just one thing. It's hard for the feminine to understand, feminine energy to understand sometimes. Well, almost divine feminine to understand, I should say, almost fully awakened divine feminine. That because if you change it's indignant. It goes against the nature. Okay. The men can take refuge a lot more because it's the men who pursue it. It's the feminine who approves. So the sexual selection actually happens by the feminine, not the masculine. Um, and through natural selection, men get weeded out through natural selection and sexual selection. I'm talking on multiple levels here: anthropological, spiritual, theological. I've just went through multiple different planes and dimensions and everything. The feminine is expecting the masculine to come pursued towards, or is looking at the masculine as an option. The masculine is secure in itself. It's also the ideal catch, period, point blank, period, point blank. But you really got to invest in the masculine, you can't get them. You can't get this. That's really how it is. And what it means is that the masculine is secure in themselves. They're fine with being alone. They don't need to be with somebody unless it's the right somebody, and they're only interested in building, period, point blank, in story, because that's actually the conflict, the conundrum, the crossing. When you meet them, they're asking you questions like, are you forever, or are you just right now? I'm not interested unless. I don't want to hear nothing unless. Don't talk to me about no nothing unless. And that could be intimidating. Right now, if you're not well matched, you would be afraid of somebody when they're being direct. If in the Western world, especially non-melanated. If a person is like from the jump, like me, you ask me on a day, I'm like, I'm looking to build a future and a family. If you're not about that right now, don't talk to me no more. I'll say what's up. I'll be like, tell me what you're working with. I got a few questions for you. I will riddle them down. I will run through it. I said, call me tomorrow in X amount of time. I will get my first date out of the way on the phone. Don't mess with me. Don't F with me. Don't come with me with no stupid sideways, sneaky, ricky, dicky, whatever, what have you. You hear what I'm saying? So, like, this is the masculine. There's just like, I'm single. I'm fine with that. I'm looking for the right. If you ain't right, then you ain't in, and I don't care about your feelings. Goodbye. Are you somebody I want to invest in? Okay, let me learn about your feelings and your needs and how to work with you, F with you. If we got the same goals, if you're going to build what I want to build, then we could build together. Otherwise, goodbye. You hear what I'm saying? Like, and that's the only thing, because the masculine starts, if I can't see the whole, a builder, literally. Like, if I can't write the relationship goals in the blueprints, I'm not interested. If I can't draw a diagram of the next 5 years, next 10 years, we're going to name our kids this and this and this and send them this private school and this summer camp, I'm not interested. Don't talk to me. You hear me? They want everything clear because they are everything already. They want to be clear on everything that's coming because they are clear. They are everything already. If they start out Nine of Pentacles from the jump and their problem is that they're the King of Pentacles and what's coming next is the Queen of Pentacles, they ready. You hear me? You feel me? So where they're at is they're accomplished. They're achieving something because they accomplished something already in the past. What the tables turn for them. So now they need to go to a next step. They need to find the next evolution for them. They've done everything they can do alone, and in order to work in new playing grounds and new playing fields, they need to do it together. And that happens, say you a boss, a hustler, whatever, what have you, say you on the grind and that you got that little project, that little fuck fizzle, whatever, what have you. And you can do a lot on your own, You can make that money in sales. You can make a good 150 grand a year. You can go get a job as an app engineer, computer engineer, something like that, some high level ish. Get $500,000. It's really not uncommon to be on a founding team and get $1.5 million in terms of an annual salary. It's difficult to go beyond that. But like what I'm saying is that's an individual contributor. After a while, when you want to add zeros to that net worth, to those earnings, when you want to add a zero in terms of scalability, you need to leverage people and leverage other talent. Does that make sense? So here, in order to run the business of a household, you need to leverage the talent of a wife. And this person, this masculine, is very aware They've done everything they can do as an individual contributor. And honey, let me tell you, they definitely have. They manifested all of that and then some. For real, they turned it around. For real, real. They turned that around. Okay? And they're fixing to turn around more. Like they already got it and they're looking at it like it's not done. Like, but wait, there's more. And it's pulling healing, pulling solution, pulling, throwing it down, pulling, coming through out of nothing, out of thin air, coming through, throwing it down. That's what they're doing. Okay? So it's just coming, and you can expect it to be like that. On our side, we've realized something. We're learning something, and we might still be just a little smidge stuck on stupid, because we're having some problems. I don't know what to say, baby. We're a little overwhelmed. We're having a hard lesson. We're feeling some kind of way. We're feeling overwhelmed, like an option, because nobody's pursuing us. Okay. Well, first of all, you need to let people know that you are an option. It's not everybody's always going to ask you, like, hey, are you single? Hey, are you looking for a man? You know, hey, how do I get with you? Do you mind if I take you out to brunch? Then can we maybe run some errands? I'm gonna go to Whole Foods tomorrow on my lunch break. You want to walk around the store with me for 30 minutes? Maybe I'll buy you a sandwich and a coffee. You know, we can fill each other out, check the energy, check the vibe, and maybe then I'll take you out to dinner. Maybe our third time getting together. Are you cool with that? You know, this is what I'm looking for in a hoe. Is that you? All right, you want to build something? What's that look like? Okay, let's go on this fourth date. What you like for an evening entertainment? I haven't seen you after 7 p.m. before. What's a night look like out on the town for you? You know, a mother effer will figure it out. You know, if they want something, they'll figure out how to get it, and they might engage you in that. Because if they just come at you guns blazing and they don't do an energy exchange or back and forth, that's just some toxic BS. But this person is coming through, pulling through the right way. We're the whole that's a little bit sideways and stupid. I'm just going to say it right there. Ultimately, the clean language would be, we're having some delays getting our journey underfoot. No, we feel in some kind of way because we're overwhelmed, and it's probably because we're feeling just like an option because somebody is too independent and it looks like they don't want and or need us. I'm speaking to the divine feminine. So we I don't know what's going on because I'm not seeing what I'm hearing. Because I was gonna say we need to work on opening up our heart. What Spirit said was we need to get up off some whole shit, and it's that wanting, hoping, wishing, praying, conjuring up some wounding, some hurting from the past, expecting a man to be a plane to come around and to make us feel better. A man is not a plane. A man is not your God. Ho, get God first. A man will pull through, come through. Okay, if you God's wife, you trust me, he will come through in the physical. And the only man that will never let you down is God, anyways. So that's what we need to learn, and we might still be working on that lesson. And when that does happen, though, there will be an opening of the heart. And listen, if there's no trust in an intimate relationship, we're the kind of hoe we can't actually have an authentic climax. We're not gonna achieve ovation. We won't share in the ecstatic bliss. If you hear what I'm saying, that cookie will be a little dry if there's no trust. And so there's some defensiveness here because truth is not clear. Why do I gotta be this righteous, virtuous person, but you're not gonna send me a man? It's because a man is the plan. You're worshiping this man more than you worship God. You're putting this man more than before you put a man before God, you lose that man. Or God doesn't treat you as well. He'll protect you, but he ain't gonna bless you. Your blessings are only protection at that point. It's not wealth and abundance. It's not married man, and ain't no actual man who is a plan. The plan is God coming to you through a man. That's the plan. So get with God without the man, and the man that comes will be a godly man. Excuse me, I don't mean to wag my finger. It's a hard lesson, though. It's easier said than done. And I spot it because I got it. I'm that hoe. Because I'm very devotional. You know what I mean? To me, men are servants, but once you do on occasion find one who is a prince or even better, a king. And if I find a man is worthy of worship, I express my devotion to them. And um, that could be when you're empathic and when you have a soul that is of service. There's a lot of room for transgression in terms of the wrong person coming through the gate and receiving resources or goodies that have not been celestially allocated for them. Do you understand? And sex itself, sex, sacred energy exchange. Okay. So there's some of this that we need to understand because I'm hearing we're not going to have an orgasm. I just heard the word, cum. We're not going to, unless there's trust. So make sure there's ecstatic bliss, because that's going. We need to work on that love up in the divine. We need to work on catching the Holy Ghost and the spirit and the vapors and the gospel and the spirit. We need to catch it. Do you understand? We need to get wet without contact. Do you understand? First, do you understand? And I don't. Cause let me. There are girls in our community, Voodoo Land, in amongst the practitioners. They have to do all types of rituals before they go to bed because they wake up wet. Do you understand? They've been visited. Do you understand? And these are Mami Wapa, so the mermen. Do you understand? So treat yourself as such, and they will eventually come to you through a real man. Okay. So this is the judgment that we need, and it won't happen any other way, my darling. I regret to inform you because these people, the desirable ones, the nines, the tens, in order to catch those fish, you got to be something that comes in the future when our path is restored. How do we do that? We need to go on the journey properly, take the risk. They are where you want to be, but at your higher vibration. So, what kind of hoe you want to be? What kind of hoe we want to be? Kind of bitch I want to be is one that works out, eats turkey sandwiches, and goes to the opera and smokes weed. I'm sorry. That's the kind of hoe I am. And I'm only looking for hosts that be about that. I F with Jesus. I call him Javioso. I mess with the Lord. I'm all about that. And I like cats and Turkish delight. So now you know who I is and what I'm about. Act accordingly. You know what I mean? So that's, you feel me? All the other little lottie dogs and yada yada, it don't matter. It don't work. That's just what's up. Um, I know we got a lot of ideas and we think about all these loopholes and caveats and that we're extra special and chronically and terminally unique and whatever, what have you. I mean, that means we are going on free will instead of divine will. And that means that we are trying to skip the line. That also means that we see something that we want, so we're guided by our sight and not by faith, you know. That means that we don't care what we're being told. We don't care what the rules are. We don't care about the policy, procedure, and protocol. So we want these things, but we're not really willing to do the things to get these things. It's like you want magical solutions, but you're really not willing to do magic, you know? Um, that's what I'm getting. I don't know why this is bagging on the divine feminine, especially in this reading, because we're supposed to be in the lighter energy. It is saying that it was like that's how we started. Immediately we leave that energy. So I feel like we stumbled into some stupid because we needed to learn something about ourselves. And the moment we accepted that about ourselves, it was no longer an issue. It doesn't feel like one of those super uber toxic things that boys usually do. I'm not saying all the time. We definitely have the heifer ass hoes out there we try not to run into, but that's not us, right? Okay, so on the masculine side, they're waiting for wife for now, and they know exactly what the arrangement is. They understand the assignment, um, but also like a fit. And I'm just gonna tell you how I teach in my house because I don't want to talk too much. I want to cut down on time. Of course, learn the principle and do what you want. So this shouldn't be applied to everybody, but my children, the ones I raise, um, a lady does not pursue a man. A princess requests. She does not ask. So I'll walk up to someone and say, "You are fine as fuck. Whip out your phone. Put my number in there. Call me." I don't say, "Take me out, la di da, yada yada." That's about as direct as I will be. Does that make sense? But only because I have a ring on my finger. A lot of people will look at it and not approach me. Does that make sense? We can't go any more direct than that. There is a way, though, to let a man know that you're available without pursuing. The pursuit is not our job. That's not our department. The pursuit is not our department. We need to look at ourselves as divine feminine. We need to look at how we express our energy. It's not about if you're male assigned at birth, female assigned at birth. Usually you'll be a female if you're divine feminine. It's about how our energy works. Okay, so listen, it would be better to cultivate a beautiful garden that attracts hummingbirds and butterflies and bumblebees instead of and honeybees instead of running around and chasing um, the hummingbirds and the butterflies and the bumblebees. So that's the difference between the masculine energy and the feminine energy. The distorted masculine energy chases around the butterflies and the hummingbirds and takes them back to some female being like, um, hey, you know, here are these hummingbirds and butterflies and honeybees. The divine masculine is actually the hummingbirds and you know, the honeybees and the butterflies. That actually is the divine masculine. Going to some garden somewhere to make beauty, have a sacred energy exchange. Um, and the king will find a female and be like, hey, did you know you can cultivate a garden? Can I give you some tips and tricks? Can I check in with you a month from now, half a year from now, and see how things are going? So you have the different levels of the masculine, and most masculine distorted. They're going to spend their time chasing honeybirds and butterflies and not realizing that um, they can find a feminine and teach them how to build a garden that attracts hummingbirds and butterflies. That makes sense. Instead of having to run out and chase them. Okay, so that's where the masculine has to come to. The masculine has some great energy. Um, okay, so the feminine is now having their path restored, and also there was a divine intervention here. I do want to say the masculine might have been away building something or getting to a place where they were being built up. Because with the star card, it's a little hard to tell. We need a little bit more clarification because I need to run some more diagnostics here. I can't tell yet because it can be that they're led, so their grandmother could have led them to this path that they're on the maternal side. Is what this would tell me. So I want more energy here because it's actually giving me an origin story with all these pentacles and this tells me that since the beginning of time, they have some very strong matrikas. They have some very strong mothers. They have some very strong, uh, yeah, the masculine. They're earth seed. So they come from some indigenous Aboriginal tribes, whether they know it or not, whether you can see it in their ancestry, and whether you could see their ancestors in their face or not. They got some strong ones. This masculine here. So on the feminine side, honey, like I said, we're finding a little bit of mastery ourselves. Okay. So we just had that little blemish right there in the beginning. We were on some stupid ish. I don't know what that was. Um, it was kind of like I'm coming across a lot of Leos right now, so I have this challenge, and I spotted because I got it. I got the same issue. You need to fawn all over me, or I really can't be bothered. It's a problem. It's one of my few little toxic traits. I hate it, and I don't get back to you quickly enough on the phone. A lot of people think, oh, everybody's on their phone all the time. Don't tell me that, because that's some BS. I can go whole ass days without looking at my phone. I use the phone for the calculator and the GPS. Sometimes Venmo. So there was some kind of, on the feminine side, there was some kind of challenge because the thinking was off, and I'm getting like that Leo problem. Like, why aren't you fawning all over me? Why aren't you loving me? Why aren't you expressing attraction to me? Why aren't you trying to play with me? Basically, have fun. Why aren't we out there trying to create something, playing together? Why aren't we out there searching and pursuing together and la di da and yada yada? Um, there are some personality types where having their plans before they begin, it soothes their nervous system. I hate this ish. I don't like it. It agitates me, but it's because of how I am. I'm not that host. I love plans, but if I don't know the plan, I don't need to know. If a plan wasn't given to me, I start distrusting the source of the information. It doesn't matter if you're 100%. I just still as a method. Okay, so anyway, long story short, um, not everybody is a collaborative processor, and I can tell that masculine don't do collaborative process. They like to make an agreement and go away and work on themselves. And when they're working on stuff together with us, it's because of an agreement that's been already made. There's some vengeance here because somebody feels rejected because they felt ignored, and they had some projection. There's some projection here, understanding greed and vengeance. Somebody wanted to be wanted. I'm getting that so strongly. It's not allowing me to move on. I can't catch any other vein here. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I just don't like this. Betrayal, mental pain. Somebody really is 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 going through it, because they might have betrayed themselves. They might have broke a situation, broke an opportunity, crushed it, or it might have been like a little tiny bud just pierced the soil, and they starting to hit the light, and they did something stupid by accident maybe, or unconsciously or whatever, and they blocked the growth from happening more. I'm catching small little veins of the same kind of boom 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 energy. It's some hoe wanted to be noticed, and they tried to get attention the wrong way, and it killed the opportunity. And it shows the feminine as new to the masculine, not the masculine as new to the feminine. The feminine knows exactly who the masculine is. It's the masculine who's a little bit uncertain about who this feminine is. And the masculine is like, listen, I know how to detect the genuine article, and I'm going through my criteria. I'm beginning with the end in mind, and all this little play and a little, this little narrative of like, let's have this little exchange and this little meet cute store. No, ho, I'm treating this like a business deal. If that bothers you, buy. You're not the one, ho, buy. Like, you feel some kind of way, F your feelings, man. What are your needs, queen? You don't know. They're not clearly defined. You can't state your intentions. You're not the hoe for me. And so, like, there's not that timidity, that keeping things back, that scorpionic little, I'm not going to share everything with you. I'm not going to be upfront. Okay, well, that's just going to screw the opportunity. Like, you want these things, you're not sharing it. You want these things, so the masculine is going to think that you're not the one. That's what's happening. Yeah, forgiveness. So, whoever was doing some stupid ish, if they're done with that for good. So I'm not picking up on the shame. I'm not seeing. Excuse me. I am picking up on the energy of shame. I'm not seeing it though. Because there's new here. There is a new beginning with this Fool card. There's some healing. So there's new healing because things come out. Something comes to the surface. Yeah, we have an opposing decision here. So the feminine wants some things different than the masculine. The masculine wants an emotional connection and wants to fill. They want somebody that is in love with the component of making a unit. That's the masculine. The feminine is like, I'm going to fall in love by the things we do together. The masculine falls in love by the agreement. Getting to the handshake and honoring, and a life of honoring the handshake and restructuring that handshake feel, that's what gets the juices going for the masculine. The feminine wants to look back and think about all the experiences that were had together. I think both things can happen, but they need the agreement needs to be communicated differently. And unless you start the relationship through a matchmaker, I don't want to finish outside of that prenup agreement, that whole lawyer-ish thing. You know, if you don't start with a third party, don't get the relationship agreement through a third party unless you call it a prenup. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you got me to the table, but you can't close the deal. I'm now looking at your competency and like, don't be birthing no babies that can't close no deals. I don't do a pansy ass, punk ass, pussy ass little bitch, especially if you're a little boy. Find some courage and some strength. If you need to cry about it and then try again, do it. Come home with some results, mother effer, and let me teach your ass how to get some. If you're a grown ass man, I need to sit down and wipe your ass for you and pull up your big girl panties. We got a problem. And I don't mean to be, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to be cruel and insensitive. But what I expect is a person who executes it, who moves the ball forward. You can't pick it up and keep it moving. I can't keep interested. So I'm picking up on that as well. And it's not really being told to the masculine. So I feel like the masculine has a feminine orientation, and it's the feminine who really is more masculine, but is waiting on masculine cues from the actual masculine so that the feminine could either surrender and unclench and revert back into their feminine polarity, or could do more leading. It's a give and take. So the give and take might not be happening because of either their polarities. The one who has a male body actually has a feminine polarity, and the one who has a feminine body actually has a male polarity, or said differently, they have two adversarial styles of closing the deal. And so it's not opposition, it's a square. Instead of a 180-degree angle, it's a 90-degree angle. So they're doing the same thing, but they're going about it in different ways. They want the same thing, but they're going about it in different ways. And so they're focusing not on what they want, but they're focusing on the conflict, not the solution. Does that make sense? So there are hidden motives. I'm not detecting that they're ulterior. Okay, so we've already had soulmate come out, and this is a twin flame union that we need for. This is the twins. These are twins that need some soul healing here. Because now we have the tower. There's a revelation here, and it's on the feminine side. So the masculine just needs to keep headbutting with the feminine until an idea comes on their side. Masculine, usually he, almost always he. About 10%. We do have a larger queer community here. And like it's real queer. It's like two spirit and all the whole little intersex community. Okay, let me stop. But there's an idea coming on the masculine side, but it comes from being at opposition with the feminine. And then it's slow work. They need to move to higher ground. I feel like the feminine needs to mature a little bit. I'm sorry, darling. We're getting our asses kicked today. Oops. We're getting our butts kicked, man. This is a little bit harsh. Yeah, accepting success. See, that's what I mean. Like, it's the difference between a loser and a winner is like the one who doesn't quit. It's fine to fail. It's fine to have low skill, lack skill. It's fine to be kind of lame if you keep trying. You know what I mean? Um, I had a friend, she had a surgery and got on this medication. She gained like 80 pounds. You know what? That girl was at the gym 4 times a week. She joined a pickup basketball thing. You know, a couple times a week, she'd be playing basketball after work. She joined a club on the weekends. So they were doing like group exercise activities. She got about it. You know what I mean? She didn't just sit there and say, oh, I had surgery, so I gained this extra weight. And it's not about, that's one example. You know, I had another friend, something happened where like they came in and raided her job. Nothing illegal, but whatever. You know, regulators, the compliance Gestapo, you know, when you work in a business where you have to have like a license, like maybe you're a liquor store, you have to work with the alcohol board, or maybe you're a daycare and you have to work with the state or whatever. So anyways, they raided her business, and so she had to go out and get like 3 different jobs just to replace that one job. You know, so some people make it work, right? I remember way back in 2008 when the mortgage crisis was happening. It was a economic crisis that was started by the mortgage industry. Is more accurate. A lot of people couldn't work in real estate, um, so they thought. But I had other friends that were going and working on the investor side, and they were making more money than they made before. I know friends that made more money during the pandemic than they were making any other time in the last decade. So it just depends on perspective as well. I feel like the divine feminine, our perspective has been off. Our perspective has been a little bit messed up, a little bit twisted, a little bit distorted. So accepting success needs to be some kind of truth, and we have an opposing mind. Now, one good thing I will say is on our side is we are trying to get to higher ground, but that we may be called to mature, and that is what I'm getting. And this is also a meeting with Lord Shiva. So we might need to spiritualize our relationship, turn it into some type of covenant. So unify together and then make that union in a relationship with the divine. Put that into a sacred agreement with the divine, the unit together. So here are us twins coming to you, Lord Shiva, in service and union. You know, please give us a covenant. What is the agreement? And kind of interface that way, or start leaning into that kind of idea and see what the reflection back is. Is my guidance so far, thus far at this moment. Yeah, because there's some kind of ending. This idea will bring the closing of a cycle because the feminine and the masculine, they kind of have their backs to each other. Um, they're looking at each other like this. They're not looking at each other like this. They're looking at each other like this. So they want the same thing, but they're going about it different ways, or I don't feel like they're at opposition. The masculine is focusing on he needs to see a sign, and the feminine just feels rejected. Like you don't want me. Me throwing my poom poom at you isn't gonna drive you wild. Me, you don't want all of this. Oh, I ain't about that. That's not the way to step to me. Come at me and don't even talk to me like that. Like you will get that out of this one. He's a real one. Like I'm not adding my energy to your BS, to your little business, whatever that is. Keep it away from me. Like, and of course, it's not. It doesn't feel sexy to be talked to like that. But again, we might be a little disrespectful, a little bit ditzy, a little bit dumb. We might be acting stupid, thinking stupid, looking stupid. We need to kind of collect our marbles above the ground because our crown is sideways crooked. We need to sit back on the throne and act with some humility, dignity, serenity, and grace so we can catch this man because he sounds something. And we acting like a little shit. Or it's probably just stupid. So it's a small fix though. And it's there's this one little blemish and then we kind of align ourselves. But we're bordering on rage. We're feeling attacked. It's an affront. It's a deep offense. It's a wound. We're feeling overlooked or something. Now this can happen. A person can be giving us attention and they can be who we want, and we might not have said that we were open or available or that we liked their pursuit, and they could have stopped because they thought they were getting nowhere. And it's a lot harder to catch a fish the second time, especially if it's the same fish. That's what I'm talking about. It's a lot harder to catch a fish the second time, and they're like, if you can't have your cake and eat it too. The reason you can't have your cake and eat it too is because if you eat your cake, you no longer have it. The trick to having your cake and eating it too is to make an extra cake, right? So to be intentional, it's the way to, because a lot of people can argue, okay, but does that mean you have a backup boyfriend? No, I'm saying you be intentional. Maybe you only eat half of one cake. You be intentional is the summary. Is how you, it's the commentary on that. It doesn't matter the argument, it doesn't matter how we frame it. The trick is to be intentional. Okay. So we're waiting on the Lovers card here. We've had a lot of the connection. I haven't seen a lot of karma. What I've seen is us needing to have an awakening, and unfortunately, it's going more towards the feminine side here. Yeah, humility, because we're being impatient and we're feeling a little impotent, like our wiles, our ways of hooking a man, seducing a man, or calling upon a man ain't working. Okay, well, again, if you ain't about it, if you're not in intention, it's gonna pass you right by, risking failure. Yeah, going out on a limb, playing it safe is a whole thing to do. It's some bullish. I mean, don't play no game not to lose. Play the game to win. What you wasting your time for? Please stay away from me with this mess. No, don't come to me with no stupid. Get it going. Keep it moving. Okay, be dynamic. Don't be a basic hoe. You don't need me for that. Common, petty, boring, basic. Go find some regular priestess. I'm not the one for that. Bye. Be extraordinary, or you don't need me. I do miracle work. I don't do common, boring, basic ish. That's not. I'm not the one. Okay. So, what is it that you want? That's the only way we're gonna get it, and that should be like an awakening, an aha. Yeah. And be better. Who is it that you want to attract, and go be that hoe. You want to marry some private banker or investment banker, you better be hanging out at hotel bars and going to financial conventions and private family office conventions and sovereign wealth summits and mastermind circles and where are you gonna meet this investment banker? You want to get with some stealth operator, you better be going to those tactical conferences and those law enforcement officer expos and you hear what I'm saying? You want to be with some ripped, hot, juicy hunk of a man, you better be going to those bodybuilding expos and um you hear what I'm saying? Me, I like ink. I'm into tall and ink. So, I go to tattoo conventions. But you hear what I'm saying? Like, so do the thing to get the thing. You hear what I'm saying? Be about it. It is really what that is. And um, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm sensing. That's what's up. Okay, and then moderation as well. There's this little pushing. See, a lot of times we want people to get back to us right away. Not every hoe touches their phone every 30 minutes. Some people are at bliss. They're in a state of grace, and they don't need a little chingling on their phone or a little like on their post to feel validation. I'm sorry if that slaps you in your face, slaps you in your soul, punches you in your gut. You're welcome. You can chill out and get something going on for yourself. So the only focus and the only goal in your life ain't a man. And really it's an ego death you need to have anyway. So that cuts you. Don't bleed. And there's vengeance as well. So we might have wasted opportunity. We might have wasted time on somebody. And so we're feeling some kind of way about it. That means you can't accept responsibility. We made a choice to let a man, waste our time, disrespect us, walk all over us, or whatever, what have you, and we're feeling left out because we weren't whole. No man is going to complete us. God's going to complete us, and then God will come to us through a man. Yeah, so there's some stinking thinking here. This person doesn't have what they want, and they're not feeling happy, and they're open, they're looking. But when we were dealing with them, what had happened is that we had unintentionally told them there was nothing here for them, and so they thought they did the work. They thought they came around, that they were collaborative, they were co-creative, that they were cooperative. They thought that they came around and they were bartering, they were negotiating, navigating, saying, hey, can you give me a commitment? Can you give me a relationship? Can you be a wifey? Or do you want to pop out some babies? What you got, what you doing, what you want, and what you needing? How can I F with you? How can I get with you? They are under the impression that they were la-di-da and yada-yada. And unfortunately, the energy that's coming with them, they really feel like they put in the time, the energy, the effort, and the intention. But all we could think about was that thing. So we wanted them to pursue us like that to know that they were interested, and that's not what they're about. Yeah, they got a ding-a-ling swing. Yeah, they can get hard and horny and rearing and ready to go. They're not about that, though. And so a fuck boy is about that, not a man. Okay? An alpha is the one that's roaming around from female to 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 female. A man versus an alpha is one who settles down and starts being the leader of a tribal unit known as a family. Does that make sense? So just be clear on the intentions, feminine. We need to be clear on our intentions. I know I'm including myself in this group, but I'm speaking to the feminine bodied people more. Because not every divine feminine is in a female body, but so because love is in the air, especially on the feminine side, but there's some type of commitment here, and I feel like the feminine is going to have to take advantage of her God duties and obligations for the masculine. has turned his back on this. They feel like they put their energy into it and that it was a bust, so they cut their losses. So we've allowed this masculine to think that there's nothing here for us. And again, there's a way to let men know that we're available versus pursue them. And if we don't know how, get with me individually, or I learned that technology from Matthew Hussey. He's a very famous, at least right now, if you're watching the video around the publishing, he's on the map right now. He's one of the hottest relationship coaches as a male to females. He works mostly with female, feminine energy. So there's technology that he teaches about how a woman can let a man know that she is available without pursuing him. Because women don't deal with rejection that well. So it's better to show yourself as an option and then let a person choose you or not, and to not actually say, do you want me, yes or no? If you're feminine energy. And it's not about the rejection, because a lot of women do great in sales. That's a lot of rejection in sales. It's more going in and saying, do you want it? 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 Or engaging in a long conversation, thinking you're building rapport, thinking that this man is going to want you. It really means you want him, and he needs to want you back. So there's something that happens to the spirit because of their female body probably come with more goddesses than gods. If you understand how goddess energy works, think of the female as like a field and think of the male as like a seed. So the seed is getting planted in the field. Does that make sense? So that seed is always going to turn into the same thing as long as that field gets nourished properly, that the soil has nutrients in it, that it's not being depleted, that it's a symbiotic relationship. And when you think of a feminine as a seed, it doesn't work because feminine energy is not static. It's very dynamic. The masculine energy is more static. For some reason, this is relevant. I don't know why. This is not the Mr. School. I don't need to espouse technology. I keep getting this sensation that my oven is on, but I was just there. I know it isn't. So I do feel like there's a little bit of a panic feeling in the psyche of the feminine, because there needs to be some emotional fortitude here. The feminine is realizing that they missed out on something because they were basic. We were basic. It was a lesson we needed to learn. It did give us some kind of self-initiation. We might have wanted the sex from a person that wasn't about the sex right away. They weren't pursuing the sex with us right away. That might have been confusing. We might have been the receptive partner, the bottom, the woman, the whatever, the what have you. I don't know who's watching. I just call them the receptive partner. They wanted sex. They wanted the okay, not dolphins, but you hear what I'm saying. They wanted coitus, copulation, intercourse. They wanted penetrative lovemaking session. And the masculine wanted to make sure that we were the right one to settle down. We wanted them to come through, pull through, throw it down. We wanted some surfboard action. And they wanted to have a wifey conversation. And it didn't really jive. Does that make sense? So part of this is an initiation. We might need to move forward, but we also might need to move on into some kind of message. I don't know on which side this is. I'm getting the messages on the masculine side. So I'm now confused because surfboard, surfboard. Yeah, and see, I'm not a big top 40s person. So you wouldn't find me listening to that music often. Raining on that wood, raining on that wood. Okay. But I am a belly dancer. I did have a burlesque troupe. I know the top 40. I'm just not prone to listen. Of course, any enchantress knows her booty shaking songs. Surfboard. Yeah, we wanted that D. That's what it is. We needed some loving. We needed some loving. We needed some loving. And it seemed like they didn't want to date. So we might have thought friend zone, or like this is a person that I'm not going to try to build something with. We needed to let them know that we were open. We were ripe for the taking. We were wet with opportunity. So we're going to have to process this. Reality is going to be difficult for us because it's almost like accepting defeat. And it might not feel like there's a lot of franchise and purchase on our side, but all we need to do is let the masculine know that we are an opportunity. We might need to take some action to let the masculine know that we're ripe for opportunity, or just wait for somebody else to come, because it's fair. Whatever's happening, it's fair. And there is some kind of reconciliation or homecoming here. I feel reconciliation. So we need to leave the house, go out into community, go out into the world. We might run into this person again. And I don't know. I'm not sensing an apology here on either side. And the message is coming from the masculine. However, the contact is coming from the feminine. So I feel like the feminine is going about their business and they run into the masculine, and the masculine shares something, speaks something, or a message is received, and then the masculine opens up a road. This happens to me a lot. People meet me and they're attracted to me and they expect me to pursue them, and all my friends will start telling me, "Oh, so and so asked about you," but they'll never come directly to me and be like, "Hey, I want to fuck. I'm attracted to you. Can I take you out for coffee or whatever?" You can take me to tapas before the sun sets. I may say yes. But if you don't ask me out, it's not happening. So I feel like it's something like that. I feel like, I don't know if it was the masculine doing that or the feminine doing that. Because the feminine feels like we're feeling like we fumbled something, feminine, like we fumbled it. But it does heal itself. But ooh, it stung at first. You have 5 of Cups and 6 of Cups here. So there's love, and the attraction was actually mutual, but some person was blind. And I feel like, I don't know who was blind. Let me see really quick. The feminine was blind. We really effed up. I've never seen it this bad before. Not in the divine reading. I've never seen it like this before, where like the divine feminine is getting a small admonishment. Normally, I'm every other reading, I'm called to say, masculine, show it up, homie. I gotta say that to the feminine. Hey, hi now. Yo, esa. Watch it, home. This is something. Well, I'm included in that group, so I should say it to myself. When you point the finger, there's 3 pointing back at you. So Um, okay, yeah. So I keep getting like the masculine is a builder. So they are planting seeds and they don't see these seeds yield. If they're, if they don't see these seeds reaping, if they don't feel that can reap, if they're making investment somewhere and they don't see a potentiality for it to yield and compound, they're done. They're very much a builder. They don't do whole shit, stupid shit. Excuse my language. What the f is this ish? You know, dealing in specifics only. And they're in alignment. It's the right thing for them to do. So we need to come into alignment so that things are out there in the open. Because we are what this masculine wants. There's a yes from us. There's a yes from them. But that scares me even more. That means we really effed it up because this is the right kind of person. If they're willing to come through and pull through, knowing that they want us, but not seeing that we are what they wanted to build for their life, they're prioritizing their life goals. And they're looking to build a future and a family with the whole 10 of Pentacles. So if they thought that's not what we wanted, they let us go, even though we were exactly what they wanted. And they came through and did the right thing. It's not like they didn't do the right thing. They came through and saw nothing. And they asked all the questions and they did all the motions that any other person that wanted them would have jumped on. So they just chose us. And the average person who's looking to build goes out on about 40 days before they figure out exactly how to get what they want, even if it takes another 20 days. You know what I mean? It takes, on average, for dating maturity, it takes about 40 days to start getting your own personal formula down. So they chose us for their initial 40. And so they're taking the data from that experiment of 40 days and they're whittling it down to figure out, okay, now I got my little wifey go get formula. So they thought we weren't wifey material because we weren't exhibiting whatever, because we were coming from a fearful place. We had some little mental strategy and we thought we needed to go down a certain way when really we needed to be honest, open, true, and authentic about what we were and who we were. We needed to be true and honest instead of trying to play a game. And it wasn't that we were game playing, where we were, well, some of us were, but I'll leave y'all hoes alone. Most of us we thought we needed to go about a strategy that was kind of underdeveloped. We know that now. And we found wisdom. Okay, so there's healing and sanctuary. And if we do those work, things will speed up, but that's the only way it's going to happen. Yeah, walking away from betrayal. Somebody betrayed themselves because they're going to feel like they were lied to, or this needs to come out because it's going to be a karmic imprint. There might be, I feel like we were assigned to this person. We should have been with this person. They should have been with us, and it's not like they wouldn't have. We need to share a truth. What's going on between the two of us is love, and this is the thing they've been waiting to give their generative energy to. And the moment that they know, and it is because it's past lifetime, and the moment that the truth is known to them, they'll start building. This is our person. Look at this. This is our person. And it's heaven sent, Javioso, heaven sent. But it's a betrayal. There's a miscarriage of justice or destiny here, because of we didn't. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Since we were acting like a skeptical hoe instead of a serious, committed, and very clear and definite hoe, we tripped it up, fumbled. We fumbled it. And maybe we knew or didn't know. But we're sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, why doesn't this person want me? Or we're trying to find this person, but we already had them. Yeah, so we needed to be pure or we were too pure. And this other person is pure as well. This is actually a really good combination. This is a phenomenal combination. But I feel like this is the masculine. Like the masculine is very much clean and pure. They don't do that lusty stuff. They came through very righteously. And I feel like maybe as the feminine, we kind of tripped it up. We kind of did something silly. We have prostitute and femme fatale. So we didn't try to go slow. That's what I'm getting. So we lost the eternity. We lost the good thing, the real thing, because we tried to cut a corner that we shouldn't have. We might have read the situation wrong because we were trying to play our hand. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with what we did, but we didn't have our facts straight. It's because we couldn't recognize, because we hadn't cultivated inside that thing we were trying to track. So it came right to us, but we couldn't recognize it because we weren't actually that genuine of the article. We're talking about a lifelong relationship, but we're really not ready, or we weren't at the time. This is what's up, darling. I'm so sorry. Yeah, there was also a little bit of seduction, and there might have been some interference, or we might have fallen for somebody we shouldn't, and we needed to get ready for the right one. And so we need to go back to being in love with God, because we were worshiping a human that was a demon in a human form, that we did get attached to a saboteur. So there's two groups of people here. One that bubbled the bag with the real one, and the other one that is they're stuck and stagnant. The divine feminine is stuck and stagnant because they were attached to a demon in a human form, also known as the vampire Don Juan, which is just they double down on the seduction, because all vampires are Don Juans. They're seductive in by their nature. So there was something that we could delight in, we could do pretty well, we could enjoy, but we didn't have expertise. We had no formal training. We had no kind of, we never took a teacher, a mentor, whatever, a guide. And somebody thought they can get in there and cut up, break things, be a disruptor, whatever, what have you. But really, they were contrary because there was animosity and contempt. They wanted to break us so that they felt better pursuing us, because they could feel a sense of superiority, but that's misplaced adoration. And I'm tired, but the story keeps going, so I'm annoyed. They wanted to do this damsel thing to make us feel like we needed them so that they could prop themselves up by espousing knowledge, and it really backfired. So the backfiring is going, I can call back some of my admonishment. The backfire is also going to the masculine, but it's not the divine masculine, it's the distorted. So the distorted masculine and the divine feminine are getting a finger wagging. Because they said a part of this wounding is because before we let go of the right one, we would always attract the wrong one. And what they would do is they would do that reverse damsel thing, where they were needy because they were lower than us, but they would make us feel lower than us, so that we would lower themselves, so that we would lower ourselves so that they could get their narcissistic abuse through. Okay, this is what I'm getting here. Yeah, they needed to redeem themselves through us, and they didn't. We were also tricked and conned, so we might have chosen the wrong person. And we see the right one out there, and he's still single right now, but he won't be for very long. So Just do what you got to do. You might need to. The woman should never pursue, but you might be able to go to a man and be like, "Hey, I felt like I disrespected you. I was stuck on stupid. I wasn't about that. I don't want to behave that way. I couldn't leave it like we left it. And I hope you're doing well, taking care of yourself. You know, if I ever had the opportunity to do over, I would be treat you better. Meaning like I still like you. I hope you're still single, but don't say it like that. And it's not about don't do the scorpionic, I'm not sharing anything. It's not about it's better if you leave yourself in a situation where the masculine is pursuing us. Does that make sense? So if we're pursuing the masculine, be like, hey, I disrespected you. You know, I didn't see that you wanted me, you're coming for me, you're coming after me, that you're doing all the right things. I was just stuck on stupid and couldn't recognize you, couldn't see you properly. And I feel bad about that. I hope I didn't cause you any harm. I'm so sorry. I would never in my right mind disrespect you. You know, you're awesome, amazing. That's more of it than like, you know, it's like a woman telling a man like, hey, I'm feeling you. I like what you got going on. You know, if you ever want to take me out, you know, ask for my number and then go on about your business. Change the subject. Not like, you know, why don't you want me? Aren't you single? Why aren't you running, chasing me down? You know, don't you think I'm sexy? Could drop that whole shit immediately. Okay, so it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If anything I said resonates deeply with you, like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, Dhammavat, and Ashe. See you in the next one. Take good care. Bye, darling.